Hi, thanks for checking out our channel. This is going to be a repair video on how to fix a Gallagher M1500. This is the old style. They've got a new style that just came out, about spring of 2018, somewhere in that range. But this is the old style. This particular unit is, based on serial number, is prior to 1999. 1999 and later, their serial numbers have a date code tied in with it. Before 1999, they had just a sequential serial number, which is what this has. So this is at least 1998 or older. We can look at the inside and we'll see if there might be a sticker still on the inside that might have a date on there, which they actually put a month and a year on there. But let's just jump right into it. The screws are out of it, so some people will just plug them in and see what's doing. I'm just going to open it up because if it's in here for repair, it probably doesn't work right, so you're going to have to open it up anyways. Here's how you open it. Any unit of Gallagher that's like this shape of case, so like an M800, a BEV3, B600s, B1200s, basically anything shaped like this. The way I do it is, if you're right-handed like I am, this might work out a little easier for you. If you're left-handed, if you try it this way, you might have to flip it around, inverted like this. But anyway, turn it to where the knobs and the cord are pointed to your right, and the top of the cover is pointed to your left. So what you need to do is you need just 2 flat screwdrivers. There's a little tab inside here, so kind of a lock in this black section of the case onto this purple section. It's kind of a tongue and groove how this thing slides in there. So what you need to do is take this flat screwdriver, standard size, go about dead center, put on top of that black tab, and lift up just a little bit. I mean, don't have to move it much. It doesn't move that much, so just move it until it stops and hold it. Take another flat screwdriver, and I always go like right here or over here, and you need to push that purple section away from the black section. So just kind of, or the black section away from the purple section, whatever you want to call it. So do it to both sides. Once you kind of get it, you also can go under here or right here, kind of get it a little push, and the thing just slides right apart. So the cover doesn't have anything inside of it, so just set it off to the side, and then that's what the inside of one of these things looks like. You got a main power module. You got 2 big old capacitors stacked on top of each other, tied together. You got your output board for ties your fence and ground together, and also for lightning protection. And then you got a transformer that sits under there. Looks like the capacitors are newer because the old ones were kind of a whitish beige color like these ones are, so the capacitors have been replaced at some point in time. Let's plug it in. This is a 110, 120 volt version, but if they made it, they did make a 220 version back in the day overseas, and they sold it for a temporary time back in the 80s. Oh, how old it is? Ah, dang it, I can't read it. Nope, can't read it. There's a sticker right there, but it's not legible, so I don't know how old this thing is. But it's definitely prior to 1999. Well, so far so good. Let's see, lights flashing, everything's clicking, sounds pretty good. We'll put our tester across it. I'm only getting 5.5 kV. It should be a bit higher than that. We're going to do a ground test on it as well. Got a little wire here tied to my ground side. What this will do is, if you've got a unit and it's clicking and flashing, this particular unit, or an M800 or a BEV3, something like this, on an AC model unit, it's clicking and pulsing and putting out high voltage like 6, 7, 8,000 volt like it's supposed to, but as soon as you hook it up to the ground and it kills it, transformer's bad. So you can do the same thing out in the field by just hooking up just your ground system. With the light over here goes out, but the unit still clicks, then the transformer's bad. But what I'm going to do, just for the hell of it, I'm going to put my ground side here, and see the light still flashes. So transformer theoretically is good, but the voltage is quite a bit lower than what it should be. So what we're going to do is replace that transformer. Well, what we'll do first is we'll check out the transformer itself. The way you get this board out, there's a little black flap here, right there. It's kind of overlapping the base, or the board, kind of holding it in place. I turn it like this, so hold this little button or flap back, get your flat screwdriver right next to it, and it's kind of pull back and lift up that board. And then it's held in back here on these 3 terminals. Just kind of, you might need a skinnier screwdriver. I just go up back in that corner there, and just kind of wiggle and push that board away, and then go over here, do the same thing, and then lift it up kind of at an angle, and it pulls right off there. And then you can see your transformer sitting there. The board looks pretty good. I mean, it was clicking and flashing. I mean, the board was. Should get about 11,000 volts at the transformer, with only in about 8,000 volts, give or take, at the terminals, because that VDR output board is lightning protection, but goes across your fence and ground, so it does put a load on the unit, which is, you know, that's what it's supposed to do. But if we're only getting 5.5 at the terminals, we're normally supposed to get about 8.5 or so, and we're only getting 5.5. This thing should read 11. I imagine it's going to read like 6 or 7,000 volts, which in theory is good, but if it's only reading 5.5 at the terminals, it's probably got a winding on the inside that's starting to go bad. So we'll plug it in. I see a arcing down here a little bit on my capacitor. There's a bad connection or something, but that would if that was bad connection altogether, the unit wouldn't pulse, or pulse too fast, and it's pulsing pretty normal. So see, we're only getting 6.9 to 7. So that transformer at the terminal without the output board tied into it should be 11, about 10 to 11,000 volts. So this is how you replace the transformer. Now they don't make a transformer themselves anymore. Let me show you how to remove the board. Got this. Sometimes these things get brittle and break off. I don't know what their technical name is for it. I call it the module ejector. Just pull it away from the board and push down, and what it does, it lifts up this board from those 5 tabs that it sets on. All right, this one's got a zip tie tying all these wires together. We're gonna, normally that's not on there, but it probably did just to kind of hold the wires in place. So we'll get rid of that zip tie, cable tie, whatever. And then we need to unplug the wires that go to the back side on the bottom of the transformer. Actually, we're gonna get rid of it all, to get rid of those 2 wires altogether, because the new transformer that we make already has wires on it. So you don't need those wires anymore. And I think it was this top one right here that was actually working. Yep. Got a little crud built up on it. Another thing you want to do is you want to discharge these caps, these 2 big capacitors. There's the quick way to just get it done real quick, is just to take a screwdriver, a pair of pliers, and go across the tabs on top on both capacitors. Just bridge them together with a piece of metal with a good insulated handle, like a screwdriver, a pair of pliers, and that, if they've got a charge on them, they're going to go off like a big firecracker. But they may or may not snap, depends on when we unplug it from the charge or discharge phase. What I do is I take a big resistor, like a 10-watt resistor that's like 100 ohms, 25 ohms, something like that. And what this does, this pretty much absorbs about 95% of it, so it doesn't get, it's not as loud of a snap if it does snap. So I'm going to, and you just hold it there for, you know, a few seconds, and this will absorb all that energy off those caps without having to listen to the great big snap, which doesn't hit you, hurt you if you put a screwdriver across it or whatever. It's just loud, and I don't particularly fond of it, because I've been shocked too many times with these big capacitors, and man, when they hit you harder and worse than the energizers themselves do. It's not like it pops you and backs you off. I mean, it'll grab you for a long second. It seems like 10 seconds, but probably only like half a second or a second and a half at most. But it'll shoot a sharp pain up your hand, maybe halfway through your arm, depending on how bad it hurts you. If it hits you in the fingers or the hand, depending on how bad it is, it'll leave a little burnt, it'll cook your skin and be like a white burnt spot on your hand, and you'll smell like a burnt flesh kind of smell, I guess. But that's an arcing spot on that transformer. I'm gonna replace this little terminal here, just because it's been arcing and it's got a little crud built up on it. I'm gonna replace that connector with a new one. Just a 1/4 inch spade connector. If you ever want a really good quality pair of crimping tools, look at one of these. This is it's made by Channel Lock. You can get them on Amazon for about $17, but man, they're good, a lot better than those ones you can get the auto parts with all those multiple sizes for crimping. I don't like them, but you can get a lot of leverage on them on these things. Plus they have a big cutting thing up there so you can cut wire. Can't cut high tensile wood, they're not that strong, but they rest right in there and you squeeze it and it puts a nice groove right in it, and it's real easy. You don't hardly have to put any force on it at all. But that's my 2 cents on that tool. Alright, so now to get the transformer out, you get this plastic clamp over here. To get it off, go over here first, go between the black casing and the white pieces, go between them and push that white thing away, and then go down in here, and it's hard to see, but go down in here and kind of help push that clamp out that way to get started, and just wiggle and pull it out of there. You know, a stack of plates in there. These are just the rust doesn't really hurt anything really. I mean, it might lose a 0.2 of a kV, but there's another stack of plates inside here, but you got to slide this transformer off. Sometimes they can be a pain in the neck, sometimes like this one, and it might come right out. But you just got to pry and push that transformer off. That one came off pretty easy. And you can see this transformer is not the original. It's got the sticker on it still, and it was replaced, or this transformer was manufactured in 2005. So that transformer had been in there for quite a while, but the transformer's no good, or is going on the fritz. Alright, new transformer. Alright, let me get my knife and cut the stuff off of it so I can get it out of the package here. And this is our transformer that we use for the M1500. We even put a label on there for M1500. We've got another one that we use for the M800 and the BEV3, but if you're in a bind you could throw one of these in there as well. But it's basically the same internal guts as what the 1500. If you look at it, it's basically this. You can barely, whoops, you can barely see it. See that white section? Not this white right here. The darker white's behind that, and that side of that epoxy. It's basically this. So this is basically the same thing. I couldn't get a right form for putting the tabs on there because this is made in Gallagher in-house. So we had to come up with this variation instead. But as you can see, it's the same thing, minus all this crap up, all the epoxy and the molding and stuff. But it's the same thing. So, and it's spec'd out to be a little stronger handling than what this one is. Well, this may be spec'd out higher too. I don't know what the hell they spec these out. But we rated this one to put out 10 to 12,000 volts at here, using inside this unit, but had it rated for a higher joule, so that way it can handle the stress better. But it's wrapped and sealed and varnished on the inside. It's sealed up here and down here. I mean, it's well built. I mean, you also have it sealed up here and here. So this is a really good quality, and it's made here in the States. It's not made in China or somewhere else. It's made right here in the States. So I'm gonna cut these off cut them a little too much stuff on it, you know, metal showing. So I'm gonna put a couple 1/4-inch spade connectors on. So if you ever need one of these transformers, or you got a unit here that's like this one that has gone bad, hit us up. We'd be happy to help you out. All right, so we got to straighten these wires out, and there's 2 little holes back down inside here, and you just kind of feed them through. You can kind of get them halfway started, and you can look on this side of where they're coming out at, and just kind of get your fingers under there and pull them wires through. As you pull them through, push the capacitor in, and then I always tilt it up like this to look how that is going on there. So it should, yeah, there we go, should slide. Okay, so it's not going to slide right on, so it needs a little persuasion. There we go. Just have to give a little love tap. And then take those other plates, stick them up in front, and then take your clamp, put it reverse of how you took it out, so this side goes in first. Just kind of get it, there's a little groove down there at the bottom, kind of push it in like that, and go up here. You can either push it in by hand or take a flat screwdriver and go between the white and the black down here, and just move your screwdriver that way, and it'll push it right on there. All right, now what we got to do is we need to put a couple male spade connectors, or 1/4-inch male spade connectors. Cut a little bit of that off, got a little too much wire exposed. Slide that on here. These are if you ever get a transformer, we'll have all the connectors already put on it, so you don't have to worry about all that. And if you have a hard time getting the old transformer out, there's little tricks how to get it out. I'm not going to go through it right now because I don't want to make this video too long. But if you have trouble getting the transformer out and you pried and pushed and this and that, give us a call or shoot us an email or something, and or call us up, and I'll tell you how to do it over the phone. Pretty easy. You just need a drill bit and a hammer and a screwdriver. You'll get it out of there. All right. So the board lays like this. You got 3 little metal tabs right here, little sleeves, one there for your 3 knobs, and you got those 2 tabs right here and right here that the transformer plugs into. So what you do, you got 2 wires going like this. So you basically have to put the top wire into this spot right here. So just tilt it over and plug it in there. Take this wire, the bottom wire, put it in the bottom sleeve right here, and then slide the output board. You has to go between, there's a little groove space in this white area, and it has to go, I always put it kind of at an angle, and then you kind of go underneath those little white, there's 3 little tabs there. It goes underneath those and above the white bar that runs across. Kind of get it on there. Why not push it all the way in by hand? And you usually can just press it in by hand. But if you want to push a little pressure down your hand, just kind of tap on this until it locks down. And that's done. Now you got your black wire and a red wire. They got to go to where the old wires were that you unplugged and got rid of. Black wire goes here on this tab. Oops. Slipped off. Come on. Jeez. Oh. Red wire goes over where these red wires over here are. So, just remember where you pulled the wire from. It could be, you could have pulled one up from up here if you wanted to. I just chose to do it here. Push them out of the way. You can zip tie back together like this one was, but I don't know who did that. Probably whoever put the capacitors in did that. Might have just made it easier for them. This board has got some discoloration on this big old resistor. I'm gonna test that resistor real quick. It is, oh god, I think it's 10 ohm, 10 watt, 10 ohm resistor. So we'll, it's gotten hot at some point in time. So if it's reading pretty darn close to 10, I'm gonna call it a resistor fine. 10 on the money. Okay, so I was gonna possibly replace that. Whoops, replace that resistor if I had to, but it tests perfectly fine, so I'm not going to bother with it. Alright, so we will slide this board back in. There's two little grooves, one there, two, front and the back one. So pick the front one closest to that way, slide the board in there, slide it down, lift this up a little bit so it sits down on it, and you get those 5 little tabs. Make sure they get kind of started on there. Just kind of push hard and wiggle, push down real hard. It takes a little force, so you gotta push down hard. Now we're going to plug it in. Watch what it does. So we were getting 5.5 kV with the original transformer. Now put the same tester on it, ground to ground, fence to fence. We're getting about 8,000 volts out of it. So right where it's supposed to be. So this one's done. And no more arcing on those wires down there, so that's good. So if you ever need help troubleshooting or repairs on a Gallagher electric fence charger or energizer, whatever they want to call them, send it in to us. We'll give you a free quote on it. We'll help you troubleshoot over the phone if you want to try to do the repair yourself. I mean, there's a lot of parts to this thing, but worked on a lot of them, so we can almost do these things blindfolded. But if you need help, give us a holler. Either shoot us a question on this video down below in the comments area. Go to our website, ask the question there. Send us an email, give us a phone call, whatever you want to do. Or fencerfixer.com is our website. Fencer and Fixer is spelled with an F as in Frank. Located here in the States, but we'll help you out even if you're overseas or up in Canada. But hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was some help, benefit for you. If you ever got any questions, get a hold of us. We'd be happy to help you out. And until we do another video and everything, we will see you later.